All right, here we are again with day 3, and honestly, this is probably my favorite day because we have probably my most favorite topic in the world, strength training, but specifically the whole myth about strength training and, you know, lifting weights, that it makes women bulky. And this is a myth, as I just said. And we want to debunk this myth a little bit and explain you why this is a myth and what strength training actually does to us. And it's probably not what you are thinking right now. So let's kick this off with the whole myth. Like, does strength training make women bulky, and why yes or why not?
Well, by definition, you mean bulky, you mean like a bodybuilder, then no. If you mean bulky as in feminine curves and building and enhancing the areas that you like,
bulky in certain areas,
then yes. But you're definitely not going to look like a man from strength training.
Yeah, no. So let's preface this a little bit. So when women tell me this, of course they mean the bodybuilder. They focus on a picture of like a male bodybuilder with all the muscles, or maybe a female bodybuilder that actually looks like a man. Mm-hmm. And no, this is not possible. Yeah, so as I said, this is a complete myth. So strength training and lifting weights, it's not gonna make you bulky. And let's have a look. Why is that so?
There's a number of reasons, but the most obvious and prevalent is that you're a woman and the bulky masculine bodies you see are men. And the reason that differs is due primarily to a hormone called testosterone. Women have it, we have it, but we have 10 times more. So that means you have to put in 10 times more effort, probably 10 times more in duration as well as like longevity and training in order to see an inkling of that take place. And genetically, you're geared to not look like that because women have a certain role in society and humanity to nurture and 3D print little mini humans. And those mini humans require other hormones that testosterone is not as important with. So men were historically meant to provide and protect. Testosterone does a great job of that. Women were meant to nurture and create, and estrogen and the other hormones do a great job of that. So we're literally made different so that you don't ever have this problem no matter how much weight you lift. And the small percentage of the women that you see that do have this are tapping into the unnatural testosterone and supplements and steroids to get them to look that way. That's not by accident. That's purposeful manipulation, science, things of that nature. So that's in a nutshell. And
adding to that for these bodybuilders is that they have still done this for probably like 20 years or something like that. So
no accidents.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about like when we look at women and also women that train in the gym, how many women do we actually see that are that bulky? Like, I don't know.
I've only seen them on
I've maybe seen like one or so, and it was clear that that woman took steroids, like testosterone hormones. So I can share from my own experience. So yeah, you can see I definitely have some muscles, and I've worked on them really, really, really hard. So oftentimes when we think about weightlifting gonna make women look bulky, we think this happens overnight. And we think that, you know, I pick up a dumbbell and then boom, I'm gonna have muscles everywhere. And sometimes women wish like, I wish it was that easy because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to actually grow muscles for us women. So something that can happen is that women gain fat. So they might, you know, do exercise, but they actually gain fat, and now they're gonna look bigger, and we can call that bulky. Mm-hmm. But this is actually, it's fat, it's not muscle, and it's not because they lifted weights, it's because their nutrition wasn't on point.
Or water retention. Stress.
And that
tends
also
to add to that bulk.
Yeah, so in summary, we can say that it is very, very, very difficult for women to gain muscles in in such an amount, and just in general it's also very difficult for women to gain muscle. And maybe just to explain you what difficult means, so you can imagine a workout and your whole body hurts and your muscles are on fire, and now in that situation you have to do 5 reps more with really heavy weight, and this is when you start gaining muscle, basically. So it's not comfortable, and a lot of people don't put themselves through this on a continuous basis to really gain a lot of muscle. So again, it's very, very difficult and requires a lot of consistency and effort and a lot of time.
Yeah, and again, it won't happen by accident.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way. There's one small caveat. I've heard some women say this, that they feel tighter or bulkier after a workout, and this is normal, but it goes away. So what that feeling is what we call the pump, but essentially it's getting blood flow into the muscle group that you're working, and then because of that, the muscle group swells temporarily due to it being activated or having that blood flow added into there. So that is a temporary feeling, and you may look in the mirror and say, oh, I don't like that, or whatever the case may be, but that's just a side effect of just pushing blood flow throughout the body and using muscles. And if you have specific areas of the body you don't want to get bulky, you don't have to train them as hard as the other areas. We focus on training the whole body because you don't want any imbalances, so you definitely need strength throughout your whole body. But strength and muscle building are different. So if you have certain areas that you're like, I don't want to train, your team captain doesn't want to train shoulders and she doesn't want them any broader, but that doesn't mean she can't do shoulders at all. It just means she's not focusing on building muscle in her shoulders, but still having mobility, having endurance, being able to do pull-ups, having the strength. All that is still necessary, and she still does those, and that ensures that she doesn't actually add muscle to those areas, but can focus on the other areas within the body.
Yeah. So now that we hopefully debunked this myth for you, let's kind of turn this around and look at, so why is it actually important for women to lift weights? What's the benefit of this, or why are we so behind it and so passionate about it?
The first benefit goes what we told you in day 2. So most people start some level of health and fitness regimen because of what they see in the mirror or how they feel about themselves when they see themselves in the mirror. So it's either an internal feeling or an external feeling or both. So the shape aspect is the number one reason for lifting weights because that will give you that aesthetic that you're looking for. Number 2, why I am passionate about it, is that strength training is more beneficial long-term for women more so than men, specifically due, and I'm not getting too much to science, but due to what happens at menopause when the female hormonal system starts to cut off estrogen somewhere between your 40s and 50s, and that lack of estrogen makes your bone density more brittle, more likely or more susceptible to being fractured. So estrogen keeps the bone density high, but when your body's no longer producing estrogen, there's nothing to protect you, and that's why 1 out of 3 women in the menopausal stage will suffer some level of a hip fracture just due to a regular fall or something like that in their life. However, strength training is that recipe to that lack of estrogen. So you can make your bones more dense and stronger by simply lifting heavy weights. So you don't necessarily have to just focus on the external. You can actually improve the structure of the body, which also now is another reason, number 3, posture.
But by the way, strength training is the only thing that makes your bones more strong.
Facts.
Yeah, just saying.
And then that ties in, like I said, posture. So if you're looking to improve your posture, or if you have poor posture, the reason you have poor posture is due to muscular imbalances. One muscle is weak, the other one is tightened or overcompensated. So the only way to fix that is strength training again to fix those imbalances or weaknesses. So that's just 3 of those reasons. Nidra has a 4th reason.
And that's our dog. Well, the 4th reason for me specifically, or for what I think for women specifically, is how it makes us feel. So we can call this the badass feeling, or just feeling really good with yourself. You know, when you lift heavy weights and you look at the weight in the beginning and you actually manage to lift it up with your own strength, it's even hard to describe, but it gives you such a sense of pride in yourself and confidence. And what I also realized is the confidence that you gain with yourself because of the progress that you're making with your strength. It's not just confidence that you have in the gym. It actually goes into all kinds of areas in your life. So I, for example, became more confident at my workplace, in my relationships. I was able to speak up more. I was implementing more ideas because I suddenly had the confidence for it. And so this is, in my perspective, really the centerpiece of women empowerment. Because if you have the confidence to, voice your own ideas, stand up for yourself, then you can also live more the life that you envision for yourself and really do the things that you want for you. And tied to that is also seeing how you can progress. So we sometimes say achieve your impossible. And what we mean with that is so often we have something where we think it's impossible and we tell ourselves, oh, I can't do this. And strength training helps us to go from, oh, I think this is impossible, to step by step see that we actually can achieve it. And then at some stage we do achieve it. And this is such a feeling of, I am capable, I'm able to do this. And again, it gives you this confidence for other areas in life that really then just skyrockets your whole life. Is there any more?
I'm sure there are.
There's a lot.
And you are welcome to share them with us as you find out through your journey, because we're always looking for other feedback and stuff. But these are just a few that we have learned along the way from a coach as well as from the first-hand experience of your team captain.
I do want to add another one that I think is very, very beneficial for a lot of women, because a lot of women like to eat, and I like to eat certain things. I don't particularly like to eat, but I like to eat certain things. And what strength training does is it helps increase our muscle mass. And muscle is, we call it active tissue. So basically it burns more calories over the course of the day. So even when you're sleeping, you're burning more calories when you have more muscle mass. And so for us, we can eat a bit more without having this guilt, because it burns off easily with more muscle mass.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that's it in a nutshell. Again, there's a lot more reasons, but we have prepared some questions for you as always in the workbook. So definitely check those out, answer those, and of course also share with us. Of course this is a video currently, but you are in our community chat. So we also really value hearing your opinion, your perspectives, maybe something that you've learned along the way, some questions that you maybe have, and share those with us and go into the workbook and answer the questions there.
That'll do it.
All right, well, see you tomorrow and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.